line in between the merciful Father and you, that he may be able to count you and to be able to read you line by line, order by order, and precept by precept, because there is no sin that you committed that is hidden from him. He shall see it all. And I thank you, Your Honorable Vonda Evans, for allowing me to be able to speak. I thank the team that led so diligently in bringing and apprehending this heinous man to the courtroom. Thank you.
This is the story of Abria Brown, a vibrant 18-year-old known for her infectious laughter and kind heart. She was a close friend of Ashley Conaway, a 22-year-old with a bright smile that could light up any room. Their lives were tragically intertwined with those of their killers. Abria and Ashley had a strong bond that went beyond friendship. They were like sisters. Little did they know that their closeness would lead them into a harrowing ordeal. Their abductors were no strangers. Among them were Brandon Kane, Ashley's former boyfriend, and Brian Lee, both central figures in this heart-wrenching tale. As the investigation proceeded, the shocking details of this horrific crime were revealed and had many questioning why these brave women weren't protected. Welcome to Viral Crimes. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more stories. This story takes us to Hamtramck, Michigan, a vibrant city known for its cultural fusion and close-knit community. Against this backdrop, a tragic tale unravels that involves two intertwined lives. Abria Brown and Ashley Conaway, the central figures in this narrative, shared a bond that transcended friendship. Abria, a caring healthcare worker, was a dedicated mother of two, pouring her nurturing spirit into both her family and her profession. Ashley, too, was a part of this close community, her bright smile and joyful presence leaving a mark on all who encountered her. Their connection went beyond casual acquaintanceship. Abria and Ashley were inseparable friends, almost like sisters. This profound friendship brought them even closer to each other's families. Inseparable in their hearts, Abria and Ashley's bond was a testament to the power of friendship and shared dreams. Ashley Conaway was in a relationship with a man by the name of Brandon Kane. The relationship was tumultuous and faced many challenges. At some point, Ashley decided to end the relationship, and Brandon was not okay with her decision. He became angry, triggering a series of events that would have devastating consequences. On a fateful night in Michigan, the quiet streets turned into a scene of terror and desperation as the two young women, Abria Brown and Ashley Conaway, found themselves trapped in a nightmare. As darkness began to settle over the streets, Abria and Ashley were in their car, innocently going about their day. However, their peaceful existence was abruptly shattered when a group of armed men descended upon them. With guns pointed menacingly, the women were violently taken from their vehicle and thrust into the trunk of another car. Desperation and fear marked the following hours. Abria and Ashley, trapped in the darkness of the trunk, managed to send a single text message to their families. The message was haunting in its brevity and urgency. "Help us. They got us." The investigation led law enforcement to three individuals believed to be involved in the kidnapping. Brandon Kane emerged as a central figure in this terrifying ordeal. A closer look at his history revealed a disturbing connection to Abria Brown. During this time, Brandon's possessiveness and aggression had manifested in a violent act. He had shot at Ashley Conaway as she attempted to distance herself from him during their breakup. On this particular day, Ashley and Brandon just returned from a topless bar, and they later got into some type of conflict. Ashley had her friend Abria come pick her up at Kane's home. As the women prepared to leave Brandon's home, Brandon threatened to have his friend shoot at the car if the women left. He allegedly told the friend to shoot Abria Brown first. Police report said Ashley switched seats with Abria because Abria was too shaken by Brandon's threats to move. Ashley drove away as bullets shattered the car's rear window, and one hit her in the back of the head. Ashley was treated at a hospital and reported the incident to police. Brandon was arrested and charged with attempted murder. Fast forward a month later, and now both girls are missing. The reason behind the kidnapping slowly became clear and was quite disturbing. The kidnapping is believed to be linked to the shooting that occurred on February 7th. The family believes that the women were kidnapped to stop them from testifying. They said that Ashley was about to testify about Brandon shooting her, so that's when he called to say he was coming to get her to stop her from testifying. Brandon was really desperate to avoid the consequences of his actions and was willing to do anything. He first tried to bribe the women with $5,000 hush money, hoping they wouldn't talk in court. But even when they refused his money, Brandon's desperation grew. Eventually, he took a shocking step and used the $5,000 to put out a hit on both of the girls. The suspects pointed a gun at the girls and forced them into a car, making sure they couldn't testify against him. It was a terrifying turn of events that nobody could have expected. While the investigation went on, the community came together to support Abria and Ashley's families. The families were determined to bring their daughters back, and they offered a big reward of $30,000 for any help in finding them safely. The peaceful streets were soon filled with the shared anger and worry of the whole community. Everyone united to find justice and save the kidnapped women from those who had hurt them. Lois Brown, Abria Brown's mother, expressed her deep concern and desperation for answers. Lois Brown's mind was filled with worry about the condition of her daughter and her friend. Are they still alive? Are they hungry? Are they thirsty? Have they been beaten? Have they been assaulted? She said, her voice filled with anxiety.
With each passing hour, the fear of what may have happened to Lois Brown's 18-year-old daughter, Abria Brown, and her 21-year-old best friend, Ashley Conaway, grows.
Thirsty? Are they hungry? Have they been beaten? Have they been are they still alive?
Abria and Ashley were abducted at gunpoint from this home on Andrews Street in Hamtramck. Abria's stepdad shot at the abductors but could not stop them.
Mothers, sisters, this could be you. Please. Please. Bring Ashley and Abria home. Please.
We know that Kane was involved in the kidnapping and the original Detroit case involved in the shooting.
Detective George Voigt is referring to this man, 25-year-old Brandon Kane. Only Action News cameras were rolling today as the suspected kidnapper was arraigned by video in 36th District Court.
He denies that, and it's nothing more than an allegation. So I don't know what they're alleging until I have a chance to get discovery, or if he's going to be charged with it, then charge him with it.
Investigators believe Kane allegedly kidnapped Ashley and Abria to silence them about a shooting on Glastonbury in Detroit 3 weeks ago. That's when Kane allegedly wounded Ashley because she was ending their short relationship, and we're told Abria was almost hit by the gunfire. Kane tried to buy the women silence, offering them $5,000 if they refused to testify about the shooting. But Ashley and Abria refused. Police believe Kane and his friend Bryant Lee snatched the women Tuesday night and possibly threw them into the trunk of this burned-out car found tonight at Red's Towing in Detroit. Kane is facing multiple charges, including assault with intent to commit murder. His bond was set at $500,000.
During all this chaos, 2 more people were arrested by the police. Even though at that time they were not officially accused of anything, their involvement made the situation more complicated. This showed that the whole story had many layers and connections between people, making the situation even more puzzling. With multiple law enforcement agencies involved, including Hamtramck Police, Detroit Police, Michigan State Police, the FBI, and U.S. Marshals, the search was in full swing. The plea from Lois Brown was heartfelt and urgent. If they're dead, tell them where the bodies are, or if they're alive, hurry up and let us get to them before it's too late. In a devastating turn of events, their lives were tragically cut short, and their bodies were found on March 25 in shallow graves in a wooded area near their Hamtramck home. The discovery sent shockwaves through the community, deepening the already profound sense of loss and grief. Both women had been bound and fatally shot in the head. 5 men from Detroit, Brandon Kane 26, Miguel Rodriguez 24, Reginald Brown 24, Jeremy Brown 19, and Brian Lee 25, are facing serious charges like first-degree murder, felony murder, torture, and unlawful imprisonment. These charges were officially announced by Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy during a press conference. The victims had a connection with the accused men, making the situation even more troubling.
Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy charged 5 men, Brian Lee, Brandon Kane, Jeremy Brown, Reginald Brown, and Miguel Rodriguez. They've all been charged with 2 counts of murder. 7 Action News reporter Julie Bonovich spoke with the Brown family and one of the suspect's attorneys who is defending his client tonight.
Dave, in a minute we will hear why Brian Lee's attorney says he's innocent. First, we hear reaction from the family of Abria Brown about the charges.
I have gotten a little closer to closure.
The healing gets even harder for Lois Brown with the new news that her daughter Abria Brown and her best friend Ashley Conaway were tortured before being shot to death. Murdered, says the prosecutor's office, by 5 men, including Ashley's ex-boyfriend, Brandon Kane.
And you actually thought you were going to get away with it. Thank you, Jesus. God is good, I'm telling you, and I do feel a little amount closer.
Trouble started for the best friends February 8th when police say Kane was upset that Ashley was ending their relationship and he had Brian Lee shoot at them. The women were supposed to testify against the men but were kidnapped outside of their home on February 28th before they could.
I really don't want to hear no description of how they did my child. It's bad enough that she dead and they killed her like they did.
Tonight we are hearing from Brian Lee's attorney. Arnold Reed says his client is innocent of everything, including shooting at the women on February 8th.
There was no physical evidence linking him to anything. No fingerprints, no DNA. Even the witnesses themselves described the shooter as somebody who was 5'7", named Scoop. Scoochie or Scoop.
He says Kane is trying to make Lee the fall guy and that the two barely know each other and that Lee was only arrested because police thought he had valuable information.
Innocent people shouldn't be accused of a crime and arrested just because you think they can lead you to a killer. That's not right.
A previous incident on February 8 involving Lee and Brandon adds to the complexity. These men were charged with attempted murder, showing the victims' bravery in the face of threats. Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy praised the victims for their courage and stressed the importance of witness protection. She called them heroes for their commitment to justice. The charges against the 5 men highlight the seriousness of their alleged actions. The legal process continues as the community seeks answers, justice, and closure for the lives lost. The charges, which include first-degree murder, felony murder, torture, and unlawful imprisonment, paint a stark picture of the violence that occurred. 27-year-old Brandon Kane, Ashley Conaway's ex-boyfriend who allegedly masterminded the plot, was sentenced to life in prison. Ashley's sister gave an emotional victim impact statement at his sentencing.
I can hear intelligence all through you. I can feel the understanding of God from you. But in terms of master, what you created, what you founded, what you established, sir, you could have went a whole nother route. We could be standing here applauding Mr. Brandon Kane, but today we stand here with afflictions from Mr. Brandon Kane. Mr. Brandon Kane could have placed his hands in so many perfected areas. Mr. Brandon Kane could have been somebody. Mr. Brandon Kane could have been effectual within his 20-block radius. Mr. Brandon Kane could have taught, led a nation. You have something so unique within you, Mr. Brandon Kane, that you have people thinking that you are the master. However, you shall see the true master as you walk within the Michigan Department of Corrections. I want you to understand, sir, with your divisive and corruptive and your devastating manipulation actions to a man, to men, that you could have led people and made people do and be better, but you led them to take 2 innocent young girls because Ashley did not want to go home with you that night. Oh, because she did not want to come and lay with you and sup with you and be a part of you. She didn't want that, sir. And for that, you became angry at Ashley. How could you do that? How could you become so angry at the sweetest thing? She was so sweet. She was so kind. She was so beautiful, Brandon, and you know this. You had her by your side. She trusted you. My baby sister would have never gone with 5 men. She wouldn't have never, but she trusted you, Brandon. It was something in your leadership that she saw in you. It was something in you, Brandon Kane, that she looked up to. Me, mother of 5 children, 30 years with 1 man. She saw something in you, Brandon So to your family, to your sister, to your family, who I know that they did not create you and formulate you and give you all the good things that they breathed into you for you to become a monster. They didn't give that to you, so I hold no contempt for them. I hold no contempt. And even after I speak, Brandon Kane, I have forgiveness for you. So therefore I stand not in between the merciful Father and you, that he may be able to count you and to be able to read you line by line, order by order, and precept by precept, because there is no sin that you committed that is hidden from him. He shall see it all. And I thank you, Your Honorable Vonda Evans, for allowing me to be able to speak. I thank the team that led so diligently in bringing and apprehending this heinous man to the courtroom. Thank you.
25-year-old Christopher Lee and cousins 25-year-old Reginald Brown and 20-year-old Dee Brown were found guilty of the murders of Abria and Ashley, and they were all sentenced to life in prison. A fifth defendant implicated in the slayings, 24-year-old Miguel Rodriguez, pleaded guilty to 2 charges of second-degree murder and was sentenced to 20 to 35 years in prison. The heartbreaking and tragic fate that befell Abria Brown and Ashley Conaway is a chilling reminder of the darkness that can exist within society. Their abduction, torture, and brutal murders serve as a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the devastating consequences of such heinous acts. What transpired in this case should never have happened. 2 vibrant young women with promising lives ahead of them were cruelly robbed of their future. The pain of this loss reverberates not only through their families and loved ones, but also through the entire community, as the shockwaves of such a tragedy are felt far and wide. It's natural to reflect on what could have been done to prevent such a horrific event. Hindsight often reveals opportunities for intervention, but the reality is that we must collectively work to address systemic issues that allow such acts to occur. Awareness of the signs of potential danger, early intervention, and community support can contribute to a safer environment. The loss of Abria Brown and Ashley Conaway stands as a solemn reminder that every life is precious, and the responsibility to create a better world rests with each individual. As we reflect on their lives and mourn their untimely deaths, may we honor their memory by striving for a future where such tragedies are prevented and justice prevails. My condolences to their friends and family. May you continue to heal and one day find peace. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.